Straight from the kitchen of Saltiness Isn't Bliss, I bring you the recipe for peanut butter loaf. So we want to start by preheating our oven to 330 degrees. Next up, we want to put 2 cups of flour in a large bowl. We want to line a loaf pan with parchment paper. If you don't have any parchment paper in the house, no worries, you can always substitute that with some cooking spray. Even with the parchment paper, we're still going to put a layer of cooking spray just to help that loaf not stick when we want to take it out later on. Just like I showed you in the chocolate covered banana cake video, leave a little extra parchment paper on the side so that way when our loaf is done, we can lift it out using the sides of that paper. So we will come back to that. Into our 2 cups of flour, we want to add 4 teaspoons of baking powder. And we want to mix those together. So I'm just going to use a spoon. Just keep this part very simple and just kind of swirl those around in there for a moment. Then we have 3 more ingredients we want to add. So now that we've mixed those 2, we're going to add in our sugar. So in this case, I'm going with sugar substitute. So that is 12 packets if you're using substitute sugar. If you're going with regular sugar, it will be a ½ cup. And we're going to mix that in. Now comes the good stuff. So 1 1/3 cup of milk, any milk you want. And of course, the star of the show, peanut butter. Now, you can use any style peanut butter that you love and have at home. I'm going to go with a creamy. We want 1 1/2 cups. So I've got 1 cup here. I've figured out that a silicone spatula seems to be the easiest way to get that in and out of my measuring cup versus using a spoon, how I would usually do it. All right, guys, there's all my ingredients pre-mixed. So now you can mix it any way you like. I'm gonna go with my electric mixer and I've got my thicker spindles on there. Gonna see how that works, but if you don't have that handy or you have something else you would rather use, please do. So we want to just mix that really well until it's nice and creamy, and then it's going to go in our pan and go in the oven. It's that simple. Well, guys, I'll tell you one thing. That was a heck of a workout. I'm sweating. That peanut butter and that quantity of peanut butter really wants to give you a run for your money when you're mixing it. So I'm sure you know that by now because you probably just mixed yours up. The nice thing about using the clear bowl is you can kind of lift it up, look on the bottom, make sure all your ingredients are nice and blended. There it is, fresh off the mixer. I did have to add a little bit of water because it just seemed like it was a little too dry with all that flour and really wasn't wanting to cooperate. Once I put a little bit of water in there, maybe a teaspoon, teaspoon and a half, that really did help. So I just kind of kept a small cup next to my bowl and just poured it in as I was mixing to watch that consistency of my loaf blend in there and get it to where I needed it to be. So last step is we want to take our pan again, parchment paper, no parchment paper, either way, we want to put a nice heavy coat of cooking spray, any style cooking spray. And we just want to put that all the way around and make sure we really get it on the sides as well, because that will really help us later on when we want to take it out of our pan. So there it is with that thick layer on there. So our very last step, and we'll see how this goes because it's still very thick as you can see. Our very last step is we want to take our entire mixture, pour it into our pan, smooth it out, and then pop it in our oven. Well, good news is it's coming out in one solid piece there. So now I just got to make sure I line it up. Tell you, never underestimate a spatula. Sometimes That is so much easier to work with than a metal spoon. Although I do love using a spoon as well, but sometimes the spatula just is so much quicker and easier. Look at how quickly we got that bowl empty. So now we've got our big clump there in our pan. We want to use our spatula or a spoon, whatever you're working with, whatever's easier for you, and just smooth that out and get it as even in the pan as we can. Also so that it will cook evenly as well. If you're using the parchment paper, you may have to smooth out the sides because they want to kind of crease and fold up on you. So smooth those out as you are working your loaf over to the edges and the sides there. All right, there it is. All spread evenly in my pan, ready to be popped into the oven. The time has come, guys. Our peanut butter loaf is all done out of the oven. In total, it cooked about 55 minutes. So I was able to take it out about 5 minutes early, which was great. And now it's had a chance to cool slightly on the stove. And so just like I described before, here it is in the pan. You're just gonna grab the sides of that parchment paper and lift up gently. And when you do that, your entire loaf should come out in one big piece just like that. So see that? And now we're just gonna slice into it. It smells unbelievably good. There it is. Am I making you hungry yet? I don't know about you, but in the Saltinesses and Bliss house, we love all things peanut butter. So thanks so much for watching. See you next time.